Hi guys, it's me, Cathy. This is HANDYRU. I hope everybody's doing really well. Really? You doing okay? Hanging in there? Well, I showed you in one of my last couple of videos. I got my signed Juan of Savin Kid by the Side of the Road. Look, look, look. See? Look. Ah, isn't that so cool? Can you see it? Yeah. I love it. Look at the shiny. See, I had the originals, the first edition, Kid by the Side of the Road. I was one of the very first people to order it, and but I hadn't, for some reason, Mr. Handy thought I didn't really need the second edition, or I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, he thought I had enough, and I just went and ordered it the other day. I said, I just have to do it because on the thejennifermac.com, she had like a little package deal with her cookbook and this. So you're supposed to come with 2 of these, but I only got 1, but I know they'll fix it, so I'm not worried about that at all. But look at the neat package it came in. It was in a Tiffany blue package. Oh, I showed my address. Crap. Well, anyway, it's just a P.O. box. I don't care. Anyway, so this is the Jennifer Mac cookbook, Detox Delish. So this is an ad for that. And I'm so excited because, I'm saying she's Princess Diana. At least that's who Juan would be with, right? John. And anyway, she wrote that in there. See? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Well, anyway, it says, Cathy, thanks so much for trying out this book. Hope you enjoy it. God bless you. Jennifer Mac, 9/12/22. And then she did hashtag down below, hashtag 2020. It's not over yet. And the 3 exclamation points. Now, I didn't decode this one. I just thought about it as I'm telling you. I could have decoded all this. I could have. Especially the 2020, it's not over yet. If one of you guys would do it, just share it in the bottom, in the comments, you know what I mean? And that would be really cool. So, I decoded the note, the stuff he wrote. I did, because he's not going to just write any old thing, right? He's not, because everything he does, everything he says, it all is important. And so I have it all decoded. Because in the middle he wrote something. I think he might be writing this for everybody, right? But I don't know what other people have. And okay, so in case you want to know, or if you want to decode something, it said to Cathy, but it had 3 exclamation points from Juan. So that was on the front. And then he had Boise, Idaho on there. So that's where Jennifer Mac's book came from too. And it said 9/13/22. And I've had it figured out before, but I'm sure it adds up to 17. I can't remember. Yeah, 17. I'm too excited. Can you tell? Look at all the shiny. See? The first ones didn't have the shiny. This is like I said, the inauguration issue. On the back, it's got our Melania, who is in this outfit. She's Diana. I just know it because she was wearing this when she left the Air Force One after he left on his last day. And when she was, I already said this before, but when Melania left and got on Air Force One in D.C. on that last day on the January 20th, she was wearing, she had the high heels on, and that was Jackie. And then when she got off the plane, she was in this. It was very long, and she was wearing, I don't know if they're completely flat, but they were low shoes. And that was Diana. So what do you think? Isn't that cool? And so on the back, Juan wrote, and it was in silver metallic, like marker, and it says MAGA Qubed, but Qubed. And then in the middle, on page 53, reverse 35, I don't want to bend it. It says, well, I should just read off my paper. America the Beautiful, because of all the wonderful patriots like you. And then he signed it Juan, of course. But wonderful is, of course, it's his name, Juanderful. But isn't that cool? Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Isn't that cool? I think you can see it. I feel so blessed. You know, I really do. I can't tell you. Yesterday was too exciting. That's when I opened the packages and anyway. So I'm gonna set that down and okay. I won't do every word, but there were some very important parts though that I got out of this. Let's see. America the Beautiful is 180, and that equals Learn the Secret Code, and Jesus in the Flesh, King John III, The Man Behind the Mask. There's a DEC like December 7 code. I mean, we get this all the time. That's Pearl Harbor Day. Something's happening. I'm thinking it could be the Beast event, but you know, I don't know. And but it also equals, so besides there's a December 7 code, it equals near-death experience. Okay, and another big one that is 180, America the Beautiful, is Inauguration Day. So this was the inauguration version of Kid by the Side of the Road, and that's why it's all like metallic and everything. And so Inauguration Day matches. Okay, November 19 matches. So I thought that was very interesting because before I knew November 19 matches, I had heard Mr. Cottrell from the original Mark Z like zebra, and he had talked about a couple of episodes ago. He comes on Friday mornings about 10:15 live. He had said something about 40 days and 40 nights, and that really was like, whoa. He said, you know, and he's junior. He's definitely junior, and that's my opinion. I can have an opinion. Other people probably don't think so, but yeah, okay. And he talks about the RV and GCR, and and he's the one that puts the codes in. He says that all the time, that nothing will happen until he puts the codes in. Well, he's talking about the nuclear codes. That's what he's double talking. That's what he means. Until I put the codes in. Okay. So when he said that, like I said, that stuck out to me. So before I got this magazine, I had worked on, our first Q post was 10/28, right? And that's this coming October, I can't even remember, 28th is the 5th anniversary of that first post. And 5 is the number of grace, right? And Karen and I were talking about that. She brought that up. Hi, Karen. And so I decided, well, Mr. C, that's what everybody calls Mr. Cottrell, Mr. C. And so I decided to add 40 days to 10/28. And that just happens to end up at 11/19. Isn't that a coincidence? I mean, I was working on that before I got the magazine that said America the Beautiful. So I was already doing that. In America the Beautiful is 180 and it matches November 19. So I don't know if I can explain myself very well. It also equals Donald Trump's end and Donald Trump is DEA with another D. I don't want to get in trouble. And it equals he is sleeping now, because it's going to be fake in my opinion. That's what's going to happen. So it'll look like he's gone. I mean, we've already been. I've talked about him being arrested for a long time, and now that's anyway. So it's a popular thing, and to talk about, but I think beyond that, it'll look like he's gone in the brig or whatever they call where they'd have him supposedly, because part of the government, he's head of the military. I think it would be like the brig or something, like not a regular jail. Let's see. Do I want to tell you all this? Oh, and because of all. So I did it line by line. So you talked about America the Beautiful, because of all, and you talked about the Patriots. Because of all is 102, and it equals March 3rd. Now, March 4th, on the current, what we're in, the Gregorian calendar, was the original inauguration day. So he knows what he's writing is going to be decoded. Everything. He knows we're going to do that. So, this isn't a surprise to Juan, right? And so March 3rd, I mean, it's not March 4th, granted, but it's close. Maybe that's when we'd find out. Oh, yeah, President Trump is going to be inaugurated tomorrow. Maybe that's the day we'd find out. And yeah, that was the inauguration day until 1933, of course. Okay, so because of all at 102, besides March 3rd, it equals homecoming. Remember, I worked on the Waltons' Christmas movie, The Homecoming, a bit ago. And that has something to do with Christmas and FFs and stuff like that. Run, escape, like the two words together, matches. Like nothing bad's going to happen to him. And let's see. And the people. Now, if you go back and listen to President Trump's inaugural speech, he emphasized the people. And he said it kind of like that. He goes, like that, really emphatically. The people, getting the country back for the people. And he would say that a few times in that speech. So the people matches March 3rd. It matches DJ Trump. I didn't even say that. And homecoming. So, and it matches a few other things. And lucky day. It matches lucky day. So that might be a lucky day. I don't know. And the way Juan spelled wonderful, he spelled it with his name. Wonderful. That's 112. And it equals I am Ray Kacha. And we've talked about that before a few times. And and it also equals meaning I am God. He's just so obvious. And it equals next year, because I'm thinking that's when we'll see President Trump, and hold the line. So when everybody says hold the line, they're saying that. And it equals hilarious. And President Trump says that, right? Or does Juan say that too? I don't remember. So wonderful, 112, is John Durham, because he's him, in my opinion. And December 8th, now that was interesting because December 7th is so important with, you see December 7th all the time. If you do any decoding, you'll see DEC 7th. Every which way, you'll see something about December 7th or 7th written out the long way or something. So that's the day after, anyway. No, not dark. And I'm thinking it's talking about the eclipse. Like, is that, I don't know how they're going to do that. I really have no idea. And showtime. So, I'm sorry, it's not just wonderful, 112. It's the wonderful. so I'm sorry I left that out. So 112 is Showtime, and Subliminal, and Battleship. So, and Scare Event. Scare Event. Remember in our Q postings? Scare Event necessary. So he knows that the wonderful, because that was another line. I mean, it said the wonderful on the third line of in the center of that book I showed you. And we will fail matches. So it's already, this has been planned from day one, that it's going to look like we lose this war, likely from a nuclear, chemical attack, whatever it is. And we will fail. And it might be Christmas or the day after, I don't know. End is coming. Oh, and I was wondering if I was talking to Mr. Handy, I think it was him, or I can't remember, but I was talking about, are we going to find out if they're married already? Because I was wondering, are the kids that we see at the rally, the old rallies, are they from the future, like time traveling back? Like they're married later, like in March, like Juan was talking about. But then again, they had a fake wedding before. At least I think they did. It's so confusing. This whole thing with the married, not married, I don't know. I mean, it's not that important really. But I've been wondering that. And here it is. The wonderful, in the middle of the book I got, it says, he married her. So like past tense. So that could be literal. Maybe it's not literal. I don't know. Let's see. And eyebrows matches, and I was somewhere here. I've got a decode of a dream that I had, and it's really funny. But I was plucking and tweezing my eyebrows in this dream. I remember the dream really, really well, and the dream answered a question that I had. I had put it in Gematrix about a question, something I was wondering. I'll get to it at some point, but eyebrows matches, and I didn't put it in my dream decode because I was too embarrassed. Like I don't want to say I was tweezing my eyebrows in the dream along with a lot of other stuff going on, but anyway. Oh no, wait, I said it wrong. You guys, I said it wrong. It's just wonderful is 112. Okay, so all that stuff I just said is without the is 33. So now I do the wonderful. I highlighted it incorrectly, so that's why I said it wrong. So the wonderful is 145, and it equals build that wall. And so that's a common refrain. And vengeance is mine, and the secret math, great testing. All this matches 145. Three Gorges Dam, thunderous, and perfect timing, manipulation. It is too late. Like by the time you get the alert for this nuclear whatever it is, you won't have time to get to a shelter. That's what I keep getting, that there's not enough time to get where you need to be. And let's see, remove a curse. And I've been saying that after this beast event with whoever's involved in it, and like one day I'll say it's one person, another time I say it's 2 or 3 people, but I think it's probably Juan and Diana, although it could be just Jackie and Diana, and Juan and JFK are there to kind of kill the beast. Maybe, I don't know. Give me your opinion in the comments. I'd like to hear what you guys think. And see if you've coded anything about it. Like, just whatever you code, throw it in there, I'd love to read them. Okay, the important one that matches the wonderful 145 is October 10th. Now that to me was important because I've gotten a whole bunch of information about October 10th. I've just been feeling like, well, I know why I've been feeling like it's important. Besides, it's our anniversary. I mean, that's not the important reason, but on American Prophet, when it was on YouTube, was full of information. I mean, just telling you stuff right out there. And it's a white hat channel. It's not monetized. It's just very slick and well put together. And you have to kind of put it on slow mode. Like you can change the settings on YouTube. I don't know if you knew that, to make it play slow. A lot of times I had to do that because it would go by so fast. And 1010 wins. Unless I'm just hallucinating. I remember that, and I think it stuck out to me because we used to live in upstate New York, and 1010 wins. It wasn't a sports station like I've said in the past. It's just a AM news station. But I remember the slogan. They'd always yell 1010 wins, and I think it's probably still their slogan. But 1010 wins is just something. I mean, I just feel like that's important. And I think it was even that station that American Prophet highlighted, you know, although it might have just been the phrase 1010. So that was a long time ago. I saw that one, and I can't find it anymore. They're on Rumble, American Prophet, but I don't see the really old ones. Okay, so October 10th. So anyway, and remove a curse matches, and like if the bee sting is on, say, December 7th, like possibly what I think is going to happen is, if Jesus didn't die on the cross, we're not under grace, we're under the law, right? So the curse of, you know, the generational curses, the sins of the fathers will go on for 10 generations. I think that's a lot of reason why we're still sick and bad things happen. I mean, not probably the whole reason or anything, but that could definitely be a reason. So when she or they or whatever get killed, KILLLED, by the beast in the water, you know, and then they go to the bad place, and then they come back, they go to, you know, they come back, they're brought back 3.5 days later, at least it says it in the Bible, but, you know, the numbers might be wrong, who knows, it's all changed. Then the curses, especially if the generational curses are removed, and we're not under that anymore. We're under the grace of God, right? And we're close to God again. And so remove a curse matches the wonderful at 145, the wonderful, and love cures all matches. So I'm just wondering, are we like healed then? Maybe we don't even need the med beds. Who knows, right? One can hope. He mentioned patriots, like because of all the wonderful patriots, and that equals the storm. George News, it's 118. Bond, James Bond, and I think Sean Connery is one of the Bidens, even though he's not here anymore. And he would have to be sitting down. I've talked about that ages ago. War coverage matches patriots. Hunger Games, because I think it's going to look like everything's poisoned and bad, and water and everything, food. Honolulu, eruption, chickened out, and that would be at the cross and in the Garden of Eden, because in the last book of Adam and Eve, I think I already told you about this, but Karen told me, because I haven't heard the whole thing, Karen told me that Adam and Eve killed themselves, at least I think it was a couple of times, and God brought them back, the breath of God. Let's see, Patriots equals March Madness. That could be like what we were just talking about with March 4th, the old inauguration day. And let's see, Sacrificial Lamb and Secret Sun, all that matches. Oh, and Wells Fargo for the RV. And Rosa Parks is alive, in case you didn't know that. So that matches. She's in a Clouseau video. I think she's in the headline. a few new ones. So if you are new to this, look at CLOUS, 1S, EAU, and you'll see all kinds of people alive that you thought were dead. And Rosa Parks is one of them, and like all kinds of people. Okay, and then he says, like you, another line, so maybe it's line 4 or 5, and 3 exclamation points. And I never do exclamation marks and things like that, exclamation points, but Karen said she does, and she learned that you can do it with an EP, like each one would be an EP when you do Gematrix.org, and you're putting in your words and your phrases. So that's like you with the 3 exclamation marks, or points, I should say, is 161, equals the final warning, days of darkness, shock the world, release the Kraken, and shall we play a game? From the old movie, 1980s movie. Shall we play a game? It is a game. And are you kidding me? Matches. And Juan says that a lot, at least lately. He'll yell it. Are you kidding me? So that's 161, and that equals all this. It equals radio frequency, American Civil War. Now, I don't know if it's going to look like that. I mean, they could broadcast it like that's happening, but I don't think so. But, you know, because I haven't gotten that a lot, but it does match 161. Columbus nuked matches. Not that it would necessarily look like Columbus, but I think in New York and other places, maybe. Black operations matches 161. Oh, and at the end of the day, right? Juan says that a lot. He'll just say, at the end of the day, and then he'll continue. And that matches all these. Release the Kraken, the final warning, days of darkness. And it matches also what we were just talking about with healing. It matches completely healed. So when he says at the end of the day, it matches completely healed. Sound of silence, because if it looked like there was a nuke, EMP, whatever it is, chemical, whatever, it would be quiet, right? Sound of silence. And greatest event. So, I don't know. I would love to hear your opinions. I keep saying that, but I really do hope, I love it when you guys say hi. I do appreciate that, but let me know what you think too, because I think that's important. I'd like to get some feedback and see what you guys think, and maybe you'll have something to say that will shoot me off in another direction too for working on something. And I don't have time to listen to lots of videos, so if you're linking videos, I mean, it's fine to link, but that's completely allowed. But I really don't have time to listen to a lot of videos, so I'm sorry about that. I know people try to tell me, oh, listen to this, but I don't have a lot of time to do it. Sorry. Juan, of course, he signed it Juan. I mean, that makes sense, right? 46, and that equals chaos. And remember way back in our first, I don't remember when it was, but QPost, we had D5 and I mean, it meant lots of different things. D5, and it's whatever. I won't go into it all, but I mean, it's avalanche, highest number for an avalanche. I mean, it's other stuff, but it equals 1. Okay. So 46 is also Fuji for volcano and probably an earthquake. Hacker, flash, title, scene, like from a movie. Let's see, G.I. Joe, because that's who JFKR is. He's Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., who passed away supposedly in World War II. And G.I. Jane and Lacey. And Lacey was, as we talked about all these over and over, so I'm sorry it's repetitive, but Lacey was Jackie's Secret Service code name. And draw matches Juan, and he was Michelangelo and Van Gogh from all this decoding I did on other videos. Well, maybe, I don't think I did the Van Gogh one, but I worked on that. And Michelangelo is one I did do on a video. So anyway, and on the back of the magazine it said MAGA Qubed, Qubed, and it's 71, and it's Target, Bunker, a Secret, MOSSAD, and that's Israel. And I was just wondering, save Israel for last. I'm not sure if it's going to be something like that. And Unreal, so that all matches 71. And a Secret, I said that right. And I have a whole thing on saving Israel for last, but I don't want to get into all that I decoded all the phrasing in it. Let's see. I'm getting so hoarse, you guys. Holy cow. Because, I tape a bunch of these together. Oh, I feel like I got a sore throat. Okay, so I won't get into this whole thing, but it's so interesting because what Juan had said in that one, in the writing in there, it equaled March 4th, remember? Which was the old inauguration day. And I was watching an old movie with Cary Grant. Hi, Cary. I love you. And anyway, I was watching it just because I wanted something that I didn't have to think too much about. And I've watched it many times before. And I didn't want to sit there and try to decode it all. But boy, I ended up doing it so it didn't work. It's a great movie. And it's kind of like a Halloween themed movie, I guess. So next month, people will probably be watching it, possibly. And it's Arsenic and Old Lace. You got Old Lace because Jackie was Lace. Was it Lace? No, I said Lacey, but her Secret Service name wasn't Lacey. It was Lace. But Lacey, that's close. Yeah. So Old Lace. And then it's kind of like a poison reference from the cross. And I think they took poison in the Garden of Eden too, if I remember what Karen told me. So Arsenic is 69, and it's false flappy thing, FLAG. And it equals go time, red dawn, like maybe something happens at dawn. It equals eclipse and Valhalla, and Juan mentioned that at the end of an interview a few months back. Valhalla, he said that's all he was going to say, but that was the last word he said, Valhalla. And that's about Norse gods, and where the soldiers, it's supposedly a myth, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's real, at this point. And when the soldiers pass away, they would go to Valhalla, and then they would be brought back together to come back and, I don't know, get even? I'm not sure. I can't remember the end, but they were kind of organized. And anyway, he said Valhalla. And let's see, Arsenic and Old Lace. Oh, and is 19. So I did the whole, name of the movie, Arsenic and Old Lace. And is 19, and it's CGI for computer generated image. And Old Lace I did Old Lace next, obviously. It's 52, and it equals I'm Joe, right? Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. I'm Joe. Stage NORAD for the North American, I'll have to read it. North American Aerospace Defense Command, where they look for missiles coming in, and they're our first line of defense in the United States. And boot matches 52 for, 52 for Old Lace. And so Juan shows his cowboy boots all the time. Arsenic and Old Lace altogether is 140, and it equals behind the scenes, World War Z like zebra, run the play, and the mountain. And I'm pretty sure NORAD is run from Cheyenne Mountain, where President Trump says Cheyenne Mountain was locked down like tight like a drum, or maybe it's Juan that says that. I can't remember. Yeah, Juan definitely says it, but I guess President Trump doesn't say it that way. But the mountain matches. It also matches our buddy Tom Numbers. So hi Tom, if you watch it. And Tom is chosen. And Tom Bushnell is definitely chosen by gods to do what he's doing. He was tapped on the shoulder to do what he's doing. I hope you guys watch him, definitely. On Psych Club, in case you're new. I always forget, somebody might be new. Okay, sorry about the noise again. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. So, the plot of Arsenic and Old Lace is that, well, the beginning of it, you see kids trick-or-treating. Okay, so I'm not doing the plot yet, but they're trick-or-treating, and they come with the most horrible masks on. I think in the old days, they wore really weird masks. And I think it was from 1944, this movie. So it's with Cary Grant, and I don't remember all the other people. And Peter Lorre, L-O-R-R-E, he was like a fake doctor. Where have we seen a fake doctor? Doctor begins with an F and ends with an I, because he was not the real doctor at that point. So he did plastic surgery on a guy named Jonathan and made him look like the movie actor from back then, Boris Karloff. He was in all kinds of scary thrillers. And so it wasn't Boris Karloff in the movie, but Peter Lorre did plastic surgery and made this creepy character Jonathan look like him. So he changed his face. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Masquerade. Masks. And a policeman during this movie, he was talking to Carrie, and he didn't have a big part, the policeman, but it was important. And he was reading his script. So it was all about, that whole part of the movie was about that he had written a play and he was reenacting it for Cary Grant. He wanted Cary Grant to get involved in it. And he said his mother's name, supposedly, the policeman's mother's name, was Peaches Latour. Okay? And Peaches was mentioned several times in, now I always say The Cult, but it was The Perfect Day. And one of you guys corrected me, so thank you for correcting me, because it's embarrassing to keep getting stuff wrong. But I get it in my head, and I think I'm saying the right thing. You know, it's awful. So Peaches is 57, and it's Mary, and I'll be back. And Peaches Latour is 144, and that's We Die Together, Pearl Harbor Day, Survivor. So take that for what you think. Like I said, one day I think one thing's going to happen, another day I think another thing with, I don't know. You know, is it Jackie and Diana? Is it Juan and Diana? I don't know. So, yeah, this is way too long. Yeah. But the important part of Arsenic and Old Lace to me is, besides the names being, really coded and the characters, March 4th is a date that is really important because there's this character and his name's Teddy, like a Kennedy, right? Remember Teddy Kennedy? And he thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt, and he's ready to go off to the funny farm, and they all treat him like he is Teddy Roosevelt, and he'll go up the stairs, a really long flight of stairs, and he'll go charge, and he'll go running up, and I think he has a sword, and so Cary Grant is talking to him at this point in the movie, and he says, "Mr. President, I have good news. Your term of office is over. And Teddy says, is this March the 4th? And he's apprehensive because that was Inauguration Day. That means, he's not president anymore. And Carrie says, practically. And he says, oh, let's see now. Oh, now I go on my hunting trip to Africa, which to me is like a double meaning for what is he hunting, Anyway, is this March 4th is, I didn't even get this from the earlier one. I don't know why I missed this. It's 131 and it's John F. Kennedy. I don't know why I missed that. And let's see. Now I don't need to tell you that. Yeah, well, I think I've got the important stuff here. But I did some of the characters in here near the end of it. And let's see. Peter Lorre. Oh, and Peter Lorre plays in this detective series. They're like only an hour long. And anyway, it's called he plays a character named Mr. Moto, M-O-T-O. And you know that Jake Westbrook channel I've mentioned before. Jake Westbrook is a YouTube channel, and I know it's a junior picture on the avatar or whatever you call it. And they have all kinds of songs on there, and they're all like old songs. Some are from like probably the late 20s, early 30s. And then there's some songs even up to, I don't know when Bing Crosby was older. So they all mean something. All these songs mean something. And who performed them, the version that he's got on there for the recording. A lot of Frank Sinatra's on there. I think we're going to see Frank. And there's a song in there, and it's in the coffee music. It's like, I can't remember. I call it the coffee music because I play it just about every morning when I get up. And it's all about just breakfast time and having coffee. All these songs have that kind of theme. And I don't know, maybe it's called Morning Coffee, might be it. And like I said, it's from Jake Westbrook. And anyway, this is one song, and it goes, hey, Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Okay, so it's all tying together, like Mr. Moto. Peter Lorre plays Mr. Moto. Peter Lorre is 132, and it's JFK Jr. is alive. And it equals... let's see. Well, Peter is 64, and that's test and like what we're going through, especially coming up, and movie. And let's see, Cary, Cary Grant, it's 47. I'm sorry, 47. And that's John, Beast, and DEF CON. And Grant is 60, and it's second. And be ready, and teacher. Okay, so Cary Grant is 107. It's military, earthquake, and a whole bunch of, oh my goodness, Castle Rock, for the studio where the other, one of the White House studios is in California. Radioactive, solar flare, surprise, and hold my beer. You wait till you see this stuff. Hold my beer. Your guy's going to be floored. And the script, I go into so much detail when I do these things. But the script adaptation for Arsenic and Old Lace, because it was a play on Broadway, it was written by two brothers. I wonder who, right? And let's see if I can get sorry, noise. It was written by... the adaptation for the movie, I should say, was written by Julius J. Epstein. So we have the two J's in there for the two Johns. And Philip G. Epstein. So I did Julius J. Epstein, and it's 190. And it equals Proof I'm God Himself. And it equals Raymond Edward Kacha, the whole name, spelled out. And, we had stuff with Juan that all adds up to that whole name. It's my entire name, matches. Then I did Philip G. Epstein or Epstein, 165. We found Christ. Superior info. It all makes sense. So I think they wrote just about everything that we've ever seen or heard of, even things, I mean, when they were different people way back. I think the bunch of them together were Shakespeare, like President Trump, the two, President Kennedy, JFK, JR, all these people. Because I've gotten before that Shakespeare is a group. And I've heard that in the past too, but I've also got it in decoding, working on different things. Epstein equals 88, Trump, poison, those false floppy things, plural, kill me, bad idea, and murdered. I think it's going to look like that with President Trump. And Elaine Harper was like, I don't know if you'd say she wasn't like the co-star really, even though she was the love interest, and Cary Grant had just married her. They were supposed to go off to their honeymoon to Niagara Falls, and all the stuff happened on Halloween where the crazy brother Jonathan came back from who knows where, and he was a really creepy, bad guy. And anyway, Elaine Harper was her name in the movie, and it was played by Priscilla Lane, and Elaine Harper equals 112, Sleepy Joe and Pocahontas, and that stuff President Trump says. And 112 is also Time Is Up, and Scare Event, Showtime, we've already talked about all these numbers, Queensland, like Diana, Queen, and Priscilla Lane is the real name of this woman, and it's 131, John F. Kennedy. I think it's important, all this stuff. I really do. So I think I already told you that I added 40 days to the first Q post, and it's from 1028, and it ended up, let's see. Oh, did I say December 19th? I might have written that down wrong, you guys. I don't know. Somebody add 40 days. 12/7 I have written here. I think I screwed up big time. I don't know what happened there. But I do know something's going to happen on Pearl Harbor Day, though. I have no idea what. Let's see. Oh yeah, and there's that Steely Dan song, Hey 19. And he's one of the people, well, not him, but the guy that was in Steely Dan that's passed away supposedly. He's in a Clouseau video, so all his songs are important too. Yeah, Hey 19. What's his name? Walter Becker. Yeah, his name's Walter Becker. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I don't need to go into all that. Oh, I double, in here I said I double checked, but that it's more like quadruple check. My theory, like about the beast and everything, because I'm working on that all the time, and it comes up all the time. Will the beast event be real? Now, before I've asked, will the beast be real? Right? So I worked on that. And now I thought I'd try, will the beast event, because that's kind of what I've been calling it, be real? So I put that in gematrix.org, and like I didn't tell you as usual, A equals 1 through Z is 26, and you put it in gematrix.org on the search bar, and then you get 3 choices that pop up, and then you hit calculate gematria, and then 3 choices pop up, and there's Jewish, English, and simple gematria, and you just pick the third one, simple, and it'll come up with matches that are the same number value as what you entered, so your word or phrase. Okay, so will the beast event be real? Oh, and then you listen to the Holy Spirit, I'm sorry, I forgot the end, to decide what matches for that particular moment in time, because other days it might be something else that matches Okay. Will the beast event be real? 210 equals traumatic experience. It's kind of obvious, matches. It will seize you, like grab you. The hidden witnesses, like the two witnesses, Revelation 11, and if you haven't read it, please go look at it online. It's very short. Just read it and you'll get what we're talking about. The hidden witnesses, the woman and the dragon. Now that's singular, woman, but could be two. The twins, I don't know, Jackie and Diana. I'm just being honest. One way to God, like, because I think that's when everybody gets closer to God. They definitely get closer to God, or she, or whatever, because they have to pay for what they did. Other matches, let's see. Now, this threw me when I saw this match. No, absolutely not. And that kind of freaked me out. But that's one of the only times I've seen anything that makes me think it may not be real. I mean, so many times it comes up with it is. So just to let you know that came up. No, absolutely not. And another match is the canvas can do miracles. And that's a line out of Sailing, the song Sailing by Christopher Cross. And I've already done a video at some point where I decoded Christopher Cross, at least when he was singing, was Junior. And I remember, I already talked about this, but when you had albums in the old days, there were no music videos. And unless somebody was a guest on a show to do one of their songs, like a late night show, you didn't see the people. You didn't see what they looked like, unless it was inside the album. They put photos in the album or something. So I didn't know what Christopher Cross looked like. And then finally he was on TV for something, and I saw him and he kind of looked pudgy. And then you didn't see him on much. So I thought, oh, are they not having him on as a guest? Evening shows stuff, because he's chunky. And then it was only one album that I knew of. I think he's had more, but that could be just a guy that sings like him and is making new albums that they have out there. Although it could be Junior doing that too. But I think it was a mask. I think it was one of those Hollywood kind of things that he was wearing back then. Yeah, the canvas can do miracles. And very interesting matches. And that is a phrase Mr. C says all the time on the original Mark Z. He talks about the GCR and everything, the global currency reset. And he's Junior. I mean, Junior is everywhere. Everywhere. So, let's see. I think I've bored you guys enough. I don't know. Oh, wait, now. 10-10 wins. Okay, so, I was talking about 10-10 wins before, and tying it to American profit, comms, and things like that. So I looked up some history for the, on this day kind of history online. And so all of these things that I'm going to mention happened on an October 10th. And there were some really significant things. I'm sure it was a cabal date, and, if you add up all the numbers, 22, 20, no, that doesn't make sense. But, so these all happened on 1010, like way, way, way back, in like the 1549. So the Duke of Somerset was fired as Lord Protector, but he was imprisoned. So that jumped out. So I'm thinking, okay, that's something to keep in the back of your head, in the back of your mind, I mean. And then in 1695, well, do I need to say all the years? Anyway, King Wilhelm III escapes South Netherlands back to England. So it's almost like you've got somebody imprisoned and then getting away, like not really imprisoned, possibly, like I've been thinking with President Trump. Because on this day in history, on this day, I should say, our people are putting most of these things in there. Like Wikipedia's all used to be manipulated by the bad guys. Now it's manipulated by the good guys, the white hats. So this day in history, they've got things in there that they want us to see, in my opinion. And there are things in there that you would think, well, I wonder why that's in there. Like for all these, when they could have put all these other things in there instead. Let's see. French government proclaims strike on banknotes. It's about money, reset. France declares war on Emperor Charles VI. Let's see. There was a huge hurricane in 1780, and it killed 20 to 30,000 people in the Caribbean. Now, that's not a surprise, is it? After what we learned about with the weather manipulation and how they like certain kinds of people. And that's why the Haiti earthquake happened. Remember Hillary was in there, and anyway. It hit Barbados first, and it's listed as America's deadliest hurricane. So that was bad. But could a hurricane happen or soon after? I don't know. Or fake one. I don't know when this is all going to happen. British troops under Charles Napier, I don't know how to say it, occupy Beirut. So we've got some occupying force mentioned. The Naval School opened 1845, and they called it Naval School, but then they called it Annapolis after that sometime. And the Great Chicago Fire was finally put out on a 10/10 in 1871. So there's a reference to fire, huge fire there. And of course it was 222 million in damage, the 22's in there. And 1911 was Sun Yat-sen's revolutionaries overthrow the Manchus, and it was Taiwan National Day. So, and from what SG Anon was saying, that President Trump gave comms to put forward the Taiwan clean out, like underground, during the Pennsylvania rally. Now, I don't know. I didn't see that. I don't understand what he meant by that, but he just mentioned that. And I talked about that recently. So it's interesting that Taiwan is mentioned in one of the things that the White Hats, I'm sure, put in this list. And then we had 1957, USSR performs a nuclear test at Novaya Zemlya, USSR, but there's a lot of them listed on 1010. I mean, tons of nuclear tests. But I noticed every time that it was listed, it didn't just say, oh, nuclear test at Novaya, whatever, or nuclear test in Nevada, that kind of thing. It says performs. Now, is that because there's really no nuclear weapons and it's really a performance to scare everybody, and really it's something else that's causing it? Like the bad stuff. So, just a thought. Yeah, always says performs. Then we had 1958, U.S. performs nuclear test. And then same year, USSR. And they mentioned Lee Harvey Oswald, who was a white hat, he's a good guy. And he was doing acting. He was acting. And he signs, so the White Hats have this on here. And he signs a guest book in Hotel Helsinki. Supposedly, they said he was over there consorting with the Russians and all that. Remember all that? And then there was a cyclone, which is a hurricane in the other hemisphere, Gulf of Bengal, and 4,000 die. And the PBS station from Toledo, Ohio, well, I didn't get the station number, but anyway, a certain station in Toledo, Ohio was the first PBS station to broadcast. And that was in 1960. And that could be a reference to alerts, like 1010. Who knows? It could be a hurry. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm finding. In 1963, Sean Connery was in the movie From Russia with Love. And when they put these movies out, it's all comms. The dates they go out, their box office revenue, everything is something you can look at and go, wow, this is so planned. Anyway, From Russia with Love, is that when there's like an attack? Because it would be like from Russia. And Sean Connery, like I said, is a Biden, in my opinion, when he's sitting. Let's see. And this was 1963. Linus Pauling, he wins a Nobel Peace Prize. And it was on the first day the nuclear test ban treaty went into effect. So it was like 10/10/63. They showed a photo of him. Not all these have photos, but they showed a photo of him, and he's got a rope here, just like that. I don't know why that photo was there, but that was definitely a comm. And he won the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's the picture they chose to put up. And 66, it's just amazing the things they chose. The Beach Boys had an influential hit, Good Vibrations. Remember, everything is vibrations, frequency. George Harrison, 1968, forms Sing Song Limited. And George Harrison is in a Clouseau video, in case you're new. He's one of the recent ones. And he's dressed as a woman. So that's pretty fun. Another nuclear test. So let's see. And 69, they have listed on Broadway, Andrew Lloyd Webber's. There's a lot of double letters in there, like I keep saying. It's so funny. They're referencing twins is what they're doing. Lloyd is 2 L's and Webber 2 B's. Anyway, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar. And that's in here. Let's see. In 73, Vice President Spiro Agnew resigns due to tax fraud allegations. And to me, he probably was blackmailed. I mean, I don't think he really would have left just from tax fraud allegations. Do you think President Trump would have left with that? No. Of course he wouldn't. So I think, that's what Watergate was about. It was about blackmail. So Nixon had the DNC headquarters in the Watergate Hotel, had them burgled, and what they wanted, I don't even remember if they got it. Can't remember. But anyway, what the goal was to get the papers or whatever files that the DNC had on the Republicans, because they had the blackmail information. So he was trying to get it back, and he figured, and his office had been burgled. So Nixon's office had been burgled previous to that. I think it might have been campaign headquarters. I can't remember, but it was a Nixon office of some kind. And so the headquarters for him was burgled. So he figured, well, this is just what they do. They do it to me, I'm going to do it to them. And of course, it didn't work out that way, and he resigned. Sorry about the train. Got my train coming by. And the IRA, Irish Republican Army, that some people call them a terrorist group, others don't. It all depends on what side you're on. They were formed on that day, 10/10 and 74. So we got a terrorist group mentioned. And Israel's mentioned. They signed the Sinai Accord with Egypt. And let's see. And then they both were killed eventually. I remember that. In 76, Beijing announces arrest of widow of Mao Zedong. So he died, I think he died of cancer, right? Because he did the big cancer study. Pretty sure. So they went after the widow. So they're going to go after Melania at the same time they're going after President Trump. Like, that's a thought that just hit me when I read that. Like, I hadn't even thought of that. And yeah, I can't telling you too much stuff. Another huge earthquake in 1980. 4,500 die with 2 earthquakes in northwest Algeria. And then in 1980, a VLA, a Very Large Array Radio Telescope Network, dedicated. And what, of course, I notice is radio and network for like a broadcast of some kind. But telescope could also be to see the aliens coming. I hope they follow through with that. Right? That'd be so fun. I'm sorry. And if you haven't listened to War of the Worlds, the original radio broadcast, not like after the fact where they reenacted the original broadcast, listen to it. It's about an hour long. It seems so real, even though it's old. I think it was 38. Now I don't remember, but they did a really good job. And the aliens had landed and were taking over cities, and people were heading for the hills. Really, really, people were. They were taking off. I can kind of see why. Let's see, in 81, Anwar Sadat's funeral service was held in Cairo because they were, I can't remember what was, Rabin? Was he the Israeli prime minister? I can't remember. And anyway, and Anwar Sadat was killed after that accord was signed. And 1982, Pope, and these are all 1010, Pope John Paul II canonizes Reverend Maximilian Kolbe, who volunteered to die in place of another inmate in Auschwitz, and he canonized him to a saint. So I know there's a whole thing about Catholic Church, but what got me was died in place of another. And is that a Jesus reference? Because they've been doing twin references right along with the double letters. Is that like a reference there? Because one didn't die at the cross, so somebody's going to die with the 2 witnesses, the Revelation 11. Let's see. Poland is mentioned, but U.S. sanctions Poland for banning Solidarity Union. And then in 83, NBC premiere of Adam. It was a show based on true life of John Walsh's son, who was never found, or was he found at some point, like passed on? Let's see. And in 85, U.S. fighter jets force Egyptian plane carrying hijackers of Italian ship Achille Lauro to land in Italy. I remember when that happened. They shoved somebody out in a wheelchair onto the tarmac off the door of the plane. I'm pretty sure that's... Wait, no, the ship. Maybe it was out of the the cruise ship. Maybe they dumped him out of there. All I remember is somebody in a wheelchair. So, memory's a little foggy. And they arrested him, those people. 86, 7.5 earthquake, another earthquake that was big. San Salvador. And then there was a manned space mission in 90, Discovery 11, their number, which we're getting back, of course. It returned from space, which isn't space. Let's see. In 1990, this was interesting, crude inventories dropped by more than 4 MMB, and I'm not sure what the first M is, or second, one of them. Million barrels is one of them in the last week. So so the supply of crude just like went out the bottom. And is that going to happen? Like they say, oh, you can't get any more gas, you can't get any more heating oil. That's I don't know. Yes, let's see. Greyhound 91, Greyhound bus ends bankruptcy. So there was a couple of things about banknotes, and now we have bankruptcy, ends bankruptcy. So what does that mean, 1010? I don't know. And they mention in 91, U.S. cuts aid to Haiti. In 94, Haiti dictator resigns. So there's stuff about Haiti, and it makes me think of, and then we just had the stuff about Adam Walsh, thinking about kids, missing kids. New York Giants retire Lawrence Taylor's number 56, and I'm not sure, but I was just thinking, wasn't he nickname called Sweetness? I seem to remember that, and I think he might have been in a Clouseau video. I seem to remember that. So that could be why that's in there. And then a big one that was on 10/10/94, the ruble crashes. So when it was the USSR, communist. So the United States manipulated, or certain people manipulated the ruble, buying and selling the ruble, and crashed it. And that was done on purpose. Ronald Reagan wanted it to be done. They were trying to bring down the communist country because they were such a threat, at least at that point. And it was because the bad guys were in charge, just like the bad guys were in charge here. So it's not like the whole country is bad. It's just the ones who had control. So the ruble crashes, and it was 3,081 rubles per $1 US. That happened in 94, 10/10/94. Could that be when we have the big crash? Like, I don't know. Even if it isn't 10/10 for these things, they've put these things in here, so likely if I had picked 10/12, which I haven't looked at, but if I had picked 10/12 and looked at on this day online, that site, I would have seen all kinds of things that are similar. I'm not sure if I'm just talking out my hat or what, but they're trying to get the point across so that if somebody's looking at, what historical event happened on this day, and they're just like a regular person, they might start seeing these things that are like, oh, that was bad, or I wonder why that happened, and then things like that could look like they're happening again, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, I read stuff about that. I read things that happened. And 2017, the movie, I can't say this name, Thor, Ragnar, okay, Ragnarok, I don't know, but it was Thor. And Thor's hammer, right? 2018, Hurricane Michael was near Mexico Beach, Florida, at 155 miles an hour. Killed 27, already had killed 15 in Central America. But I think that was the one that went up along the East Coast. And to me, Hurricane Michael was taking out submarine bases that were the secret ones that are along the coast and in the Caribbean, whatever. And, who knows if that many people died. I don't know. And maybe it was all the bad guys. Maybe. I don't know. And there's flash floods, and that was in Spain. And 35,000 women were allowed to attend a football match in Tehran, soccer, right? And that was in 2019. I remember when that happened, but 35, right? And for POTUS 35 and all kinds of other things. And 2021 on 10/10, so just last year, Taiwan's president, TSAI LNG -WEN, President Tsai Ing-wen, said the country won't bow to Chinese pressure on Taiwanese National Day, because that's what 10/10 is. And said that after Xi Jinping vowed to fulfill reunification. So I know that went on and on, but just at least it shows, if nothing about the right date for anything, at least it shows that the White Hats are putting these in there. So you'll go, whoa, what happened back then? And when you see future events that sound like that, you'll go, wow. If you had looked at on this day in history. And Mr. C brought that up, didn't he? Did he? I don't remember. Yeah, I won't go into all that. I have a whole nother thing on Mr. C. Anyway, so I'm tired. My throat hurts. And thanks, you guys, for putting up with me through all this. And I hope everybody's okay and you're not like all freaked out. You got your peanut butter and your crackers. Stick them under the bed. Some water. I don't know. Maybe you don't lose power. Maybe it's only internet for a while. I don't know, but don't freak out. Worry gets you nowhere, right? You just do the best you can, and if you can't afford it or something, there are other people around that will help each other, and National Guard's going to be all over the place. They're not going to let people go without, they just aren't. They're not going to let grandma starve and things like that. So anyway, I'm on Telegram, and Mrs. HANDYRU Chit Chat, if you're new and you want to post things or talk to each other, just join in there. And Mrs. HANDYRU on Truth Social. Told you I'm tired. On Truth Social. And I really like Truth Social. I think it's fun. So if you're not on it, give it a shot. You'll get to see President Trump's posts and decode them and all that. And thanks for any donations anybody gives for Mr. Handy and me. We do appreciate it. I'm always saying that. It sounds like I'm groveling. It's awkward. But the links are below in the description if you want to donate anything. Small, doesn't matter. We appreciate everything. So I gotta go. I gotta eat. And Mr. Handy made the best food last night. So cool. He made, what did he make? He did Panera. Most people probably know what Panera is. It's just like a coffee. It's a cafe, in case you haven't heard of it. But he did one of those. Somebody posted a recipe about how to make Panera's cheddar broccoli soup, and Mr. Handy's was way better. So that was an awesome recipe. So he did a really good job, and we used carrots out of our own garden, so that was really exciting. I love this kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to have, and I hope you guys are doing all right, like I said, and just reach out if you're lonely. I'm there. I'm here. Mrs. HandyRU at Comcast.net. So if you want to talk, I'll talk. And I love you guys. Take care of each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye.